right. What is up, everybody? And thank you for hanging out tonight. I know we've got a little bit of a late start going here, and I really apologize for that. I'm going to let you guys know what's been going on over here on our end of things. But I just wanted to say hello first, and I'm getting the little YouTube, whatever video manager type thing, live stream pulled up here so I can get my live chat popped out and going. But thank you all for hanging out this evening. I'm very excited to be doing this stream, even in the midst of what feels like a very chaotic week or couple of weeks, but really the last week has been challenging, to say the least. Just start with a bottle chug. I know, Jay. I mean, honestly, at this point, oh, that's so good, though. I shouldn't have started the night with that. All right, let me say hello to all of you in the chat. Let me check out who we have in here. And then we'll get to it. We'll get to the stream. I'll fill you guys in. I've got some stuff I want to talk about written down on the notes in my phone. We're going to drink some freaking whiskey because, my God, do I need it. Let me tell you what. All right, let me scroll up. And I remembered to plug in the Ethernet cable today. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, basically. Okay, I see Sugar Kitty. I see JG. I see Carlo Mack in the house. Aiden. And also, guys, if you can't hear me or whatever, if my audio is weird, let me know. I think it should be good. I think it's leftover settings from last week. Big Vic, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Utamasi is in here with Carlo. Good to see both of you. And I got your email. So as soon as that bottle arrives to me, I will forward that on to you. And I'm excited for you guys to try that. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody calling me out. Jeff, what's up, man? Kilco in the house. I already said Sugar Kitty. Or Screw, a.k.a. Dan. What's up? Good to see you. And I know you got your samples today, so that's very exciting news. Jeffrey Wack. What's up, man? Hendo. Andrew Spurrell. Let me see. I don't want to miss anybody, but I want to get going here. Colin, what's up, man? Guy Davis. And if I missed your message, I'm just going to scroll through here. If I missed your message, post it again, tag me in it, and I'll see it. I just want to get to the bottom of the chat and get the stream kicked off, guys. So awesome. AM65, what's up? Everything sounds good. What's up, Ryan? Okay. Well, all right. So here's the dealio. Tonight, for all of you people that won some of the Infinity Bottle samples, we're going to be tasting the final version of the Infinity Bottle. The first thing we'll do, all of you that won, except for AM65, I'm so sorry, got Infinity Bottle version 4, which is last time's version. And then we all have the flasks if you won last week, or I believe Chris Univpoke and Keith Schmidt just have samples of version 5. So we should have 5 or maybe 6 people with version 5 that can taste with me, and then one less person, AM65, that has version 4 to taste with me as we do the side-by-side. So we're going to do that tonight, and we'll see how it turned out. I debated whether or not we would I would fix the blend at the end and try to send a sample of a fixed version. I didn't quite have enough left to do that for everybody. I had 180 milliliters left, which would have left me 0 room to really experiment with the blend between the 6 people I would have needed to send 30 milliliters to. So I decided that we're just going to roll with what the community put together on the live streams, good or bad, take it or leave it. And that's going to be version 5 that we're going to taste today. So that's kind of the plan. What's up, Shayla? I see Whiskey Central's in the house. Very cool that you're in here hanging. Yeah, Chris has 4 and 5, but Chris, I think you only have a sample of 5, and obviously last week's winners won the flasks and everything like that. Let me guess, they discontinued your hair gel. That's freaking awesome. No, they didn't. And I honestly, if they did, I would have enough to get me through the next like 3 or 4 years because I'd buy that shit in bulk. That's funny, Jay. That is funny. Big Vic, it is a Rebel 10. Yes, I'm going to taste that tonight as well. Good eye catching that. Yes, it is. That dropped here in Ohio recently. We actually saw a really big drop of what it used to be Rebel Yell 10. Now it's just Rebel 10. This was hitting shelves everywhere, and all of them are barreled in '09. So we might be getting an extra year or two on the aging there. It just depends. I don't know when, doesn't say when they bottled this stuff or if they tanked it. I really don't know. I guess they wouldn't have tanked single barrels. So yeah, who knows? It's a hair gel infinity bottle. God, you guys are giving it to me. That's funny. What's up, Alan? Hey, good to see you, man. And Dave in the house. David Rosas, you changed your name to instead of Dave Rose, you changed it to David Rosas. That's great, man. Tim, Ohio does not get everything. I will let you know that. We get like a weird mid-range of stuff more frequently than others, like Weller Antique and stuff like that. Like the Rebel 10 drop was unusual to see so much of that. A couple weeks ago, Old Ezra 7 was literally everywhere by the case. You couldn't get rid of it in the stores. So we've just had some really weird distribution things happening, and it's a control state. So, oh, Jay, I didn't know you were bald. That's funny, man. Bev Porter's in the house. Bev, I must have missed you. Oh, there you are. Good to see you. I am going to check this out. Sarah watched it without me, and she said it's really, really good. So I really want to watch this. Tim, I have a little bit of a waiting list on people to send bottles to at cost. But if you're interested in that, send me an email, kind of add you to that list. Next up is Keith Schmidt, a couple others in front or after Keith. And then, if you want one at cost, I can hook that up. It just hasn't been dropping as often around here. I used to be able to buy it by the case. But if you really want one, I can do that. I can't do it unlimitedly. And if it gets out of hand, then I'll have to shut off the valve. But if you want one, just let me know, man. I know, man. So all the barrel pit clubs I'm in too, like that's all I'm buying now. I'm not even buying stuff off the shelf mostly. Okay, guys. So here's the dealio. Let me kind of give you a little bit of backstory of what's going on. I'm going to pour something to start. I'm going to pour some Rebel 10. Good stuff. Surprisingly good. I mean, I'm not a big peanut fan, you all know, and it's got some peanutty notes, but this Rebel 10 is killer. Oh, yeah. Okay. So first off, let me start with the good news. Sarah and I are officially going to get married at the end of August. So we've been engaged. At that point, we will have been engaged for 8 months, and we didn't really make any wedding plans because of COVID. So at the time, it was like around Christmas when we got engaged. There was no sense at that time to try to make any plans. We didn't know that this summer was going to be sort of the tail end of everything for the most part. And so we just decided that we're going to do a really small thing, just her and I and a friend of ours who, or a friend of hers rather, was her old saxophone teacher back in the day. He lives in Colorado, so we're going to climb a 14er out there or something like that and get married at the top. So it's just going to be like a really chill thing, but we're going to be staying at a resort in Colorado, and we'll be out there for probably about a week in right around Colorado Springs. So we've finally set up the plan. We're going to make it happen. And so that's exciting. So that's in a little over 2 months from now. So that's the good news. And that's kind of the silver lining, I guess, to all of this. But yeah, it's a great way to save money too. I mean, we weren't going to take out a loan or ask our families for money to do a big shindig wedding. It's just not who we are anyways. We'd rather take the money that we have and go on a really badass honeymoon. That's kind of the plan. So it does sound like something Adriana would do. So yeah, thank you guys for the congrats. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dave, for the super chat, man. Cheers. Yeah, let me take my first sip of the night. And let me know what you're sipping on, by the way. I know, speaking of Bev, I know Matt Porter called out this Rebel Yell 10 year in one of his recent videos. Seriously, guys, if you can get this in your area between $60, $75, it's $80 in Ohio for some reason. State controlled pricing here is usually really good. It's a little expensive in Ohio for the Rebel Yell. But if you can find it between 60 and 80, I guess, to me, this is an instant buy. I mean, this is really good stuff at 100 proof, 10 plus years old, especially those old bottles. Keith sent me a sample of an old Rebel Yell that's probably 13 or 14 years old. It was barreled in 06. And I'm going to be doing a review of this Rebel 10 in the next couple weeks. I'm going to put it next to an old sample and see just, how the years affect it and everything. So that'll be interesting. Colorado is Jay's native state. Nice. Thank you, Alan. Daniel, what's up, man? Sending some money just for being a badass and getting on camera after you wreck. Just think, without your hair gel helmet, you could have really been hurt. Oh, I love it. So I got to talk about that now, I guess, for the people who are not on Patreon. Getting married by the end of August as well. Congrats, Dave. That's awesome, man. Drink to that. $100. Yeah, that's a little much for me for this. Yeah, the $80. I mean, I'll take what I can get. You know what I mean? Okay, so now let's talk about the bad news of what's been going on. And also, like, I don't have a giveaway plan for tonight. I didn't really think about it. I have a couple of things I could give away. I have a Russell's pick. I have a Chattanooga 1816 cask strength. Maybe we won't do a giveaway tonight. You know, we've been doing a lot of giveaways. So let's not do one tonight. You know, I hope you guys are cool with that. Next week, I'll do a pretty cool giveaway next week. Maybe I will do that Chattanooga 1816 cask, which is some really solid MGP juice. Let's see. Who did I miss here on Super Chats? Bubble Bath Bourbon for the Honeymoon Hotel minibar bill. Thanks. Drinking the Backbone Uncut sample. Mark, I should pour some of that here in a second. That, to me, it's a little young, a little fiery. Give it some airtime in the glass. Throw like a couple drops of water in it. Honestly, those Backbone picks are spectacular, in my opinion. So right now we're getting a new dishwasher installed. Our landlord is over here. So that's step one of what the heck's been going on. A couple days ago, our TV in our room just went out. So we typically at night we'll lay in bed and watch an episode of something on Netflix. We'll Netflix and chill. And the TV went out. It's an ancient TV, but you know, like a little inconvenient. And I'm like, oh, dang, you know, that kind of sucks. Then 2 days later, the dishwasher is donezo. It smells like burning wires. It's leaking into the floor, the whole nine. And so our landlord is here right now putting in a new dishwasher. So Sarah's handling that. And then yesterday I got into a car accident. My patrons know this, and the people who are friends with me on Facebook. I was in the middle of a little sandwich. They made a cam sandwich, a camwich, and I was the middle car. Very, very nice, but very old lady who probably shouldn't be on the road anymore was driving in front of me, well into her 80s. Well into her 80s, and just stopped on the freeway. I mean, dead stop. She was worried about a semi trying to merge during this really crazy merge. And I stopped. I had plenty of time. I was just like, what the hell is this? What is she doing? You know, but the work van behind me must have been on his phone, wasn't paying attention, and just annihilated my car. So my car got towed away today. It's gone. I'm hoping to God it's totaled and we can just like get a new car. That would be really, really nice. But the back end was just destroyed, and the front end had a little bit of damage to it, you know. So today I've got the residual soreness. I've never been in an accident before. So people were saying like, oh, you know, the next day is going to be worse. And I thought, oh, I'm fine. Little headache, a little concussion symptom. No, man, today I'm feeling that shit. The dude, I think, was going like around 45 when he hit me in the back. So it jolted me more than I thought it did. So that's bad things come in threes, right? TV, dishwasher, car accident. It's only up from here. Knock on wood. There we go. Daniel, man, what's up? Good to see you. I'm glad your samples arrived safely. Everybody who I owed giveaways, samples, all that stuff, I sent out like 15 packages on Monday, I think it was, and I made sure everything got there by today before the live stream. So everybody should have everything at this point. Lots of Driftless Glen out there, lots of Backbone samples that went out. I tried to put extra samples in people's boxes because I was late getting that stuff out, just because things have been so crazy. So Daniel, man, thank you for the the wedding, new car, new TV fund. I know, right? It's just like, holy shit. Yeah, Big Vic, I'm good, man. Thank you. Oh, Lido, man, thank you so much for the super chat. For the wedding or to fix the beater, your pick. Well, the beater's gone, and I hope they're not going to fix it. I hope it's a brand new thing, because I tore out the undercarriage of this car already. I guess I've never been in an accident with another person, but I've damaged my car before. A semi tire in the middle of a dark highway, didn't see it, and I came up over top of the tire and just ripped out the underside of my car. And somehow I didn't spin out or flip, which was really nice. And that was a couple of years ago. So this car was a nice 2018 Hyundai Elantra. But it's time for something new, I think. I'd rather not drive the Frankenstein around that's been fixed a bunch of times. Thank you, Lito, man. Yeah, Sarah with an H. Everybody remember that. Sarah with an H. Glad you survived in your smart car, Jay. Man, Jay's razzing me tonight. Bev, I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for checking in. And Guy, yeah, I'm good. You know, just another day in the life. And I've got 2 big shows this weekend with the symphony. So we're playing a lot of Elton John stuff on Saturday, which shouldn't be hard for the orchestra, but someone actually did some really good arrangements. And so I have a ton of notes to learn. And I learned most of them today. And tomorrow I'll put the finishing touches on in between rehearsal and show for tomorrow's show, which is a movie show. So that'll be interesting. Thank you, Aiden, for the new car fund. It'll buff out. Amy, yeah. If you see the picture, I was like, man, I couldn't even shut my trunk. My trunk was just flapping in the wind when I drove home. So, no. Yeah, I guess you're right, Keith. I guess I know about the market is pretty bananas right now. Yeah, we'll just see. I mean, we'll see how it all pans out, you know, with insurance and all that. So we have some really solid car insurance, but I'm just going to be curious to see what happens with all this, you know. Guy says, I had car problems, just my car, ball bearing malfunction, driver's side wheel, inside the driver's side wheel, and blew the tire. So the rim and tire destroyed, took some money out of my wallet. Yeah, especially the rims and stuff like that, you know. Ugh, lame. Dan, dude. Thank you, man. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. For someone who has a stream, who doesn't have a giveaway to generate money, cheers, and who is so generous with the samples. Man, thank you so much. I can't even remember what I sent you. I just remember packing up like 8 samples, I think. And I was like, I just start pouring like, that looks good. That looks good. You know, I wanted to send you some good stuff, especially because you were so patient with me getting you that Calumet and that chatty port finish. So, dude, cheers. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, you guys that are super chatting, it is not necessary at all, but I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you. And Big Vic now, damn truckers, I should know. Thankfully, it wasn't a truck. Thankfully, it was a work van. If it would have been a truck going that fast, it might be a little different story. You know, I might be in the hospital right now. So no bourbon. No, I was on my way to pick some bourbon up, but no bourbon in the trunk. Oh man. Oh, Jay, I missed your super chat. Sorry, man. Oh, the cycle fun. You know what's hilarious, Jay? When I was a kid in elementary school, so like 4 years ago, I was in the juggling club, right? And I was juggling clubs, literally rings, balls, lots of balls, scarves, rubber chickens, the whole 9. But there was also a unicycling thing along with it. And so we would learn how to ride unicycles and juggle at the same time. It was basically clown school. So I actually have a unicycle in my garage. Unfortunately. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, please hit that like button, everybody. 53 in the chat, 24 likes. We can do a little bit better than that. Thank you, Shayla. Okay, guys. So anyways, that's all the bad news for the stream. It's just been like a crazy week. And so I haven't gotten a video out yet. And I do apologize. I'm going to try to nail down a quick sip or 2 over the next couple of days. But I don't have any full reviews in the bank that I've edited and have ready to go. So I'll get on that. The next one's going to be the Balcones Lineage. There's been so many new releases recently. I mean, you know as well as I do, I've been shelling out some dough to try to get these new releases in here and review them. But I'm ready for it to calm down a little bit so I can get back to some like reviews that I want to do of bottles that I've been sitting on for a while. So, and no instruments, Bev. So thankfully, you know, I remember like the panic set in when I got off the side of the road and I realized like, oh my God, what is in my trunk right now? Because usually it's like, yeah, it'll be bourbon a lot of the time. I'm going to FedEx to ship people stuff, or it'll be a lot of my instruments from rehearsal. So thankfully there was nothing in the trunk. Very good. Clown school. Yeah, I went to clown school, you know. Oh my gosh. Jay, I'm so sorry about missing that super chat, man. Yeah, Jeff definitely juggled 2 clubs and a rubber chicken, you know. That was definitely a thing we did. So it was elementary school through 5th grade. Lineage is pretty interesting stuff. It is very different, but I actually like it quite a bit. I don't know how. Well, Sarah was also a band geek, so, but she was way out of my league. She still is, but back then, man, she was like a junior and I was a freshman in our undergrad. I don't know how I landed that. So, okay. So I think that's it. Let's get to some tasting, and then I'll talk. I want to talk Matt Madness. I want to talk Matt Madness because I tuned into I Whiskey She Wines on Monday, and there was some serious smack talk going on. So we'll talk Matt Madness. And what's the last thing? There's another thing I want to address today on the stream if we get to it. If not, I'm going to make a video about it anyways, but we might get there. I'm going to finish this Rebel Yell real quick, or Rebel 10. No way, Bev. That's awesome. That is awesome. So what did you guys play? What were your instruments? Yeah, the hair gel really protected me. Oh, the hair gel is what landed Sarah. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Actually, back then, I had shaggy hair, so there was no hair gel going on. I had shaggy hair over my ears. I had long, you couldn't see my forehead when we started dating. So, and then I chopped it off and sent it backwards. And at this point in my life, it's just going to keep moving back, year to year. The thing I want to address, Chris, is, and this might sound worse than it is if I just give you the preview and not the whole talk, but it's just some new, like, I'm new in the WhiskeyTube community, but it's about people that are sort of joining in the community, maybe starting channels and stuff, and just like subtext, subtweeting people in their videos and like low-key calling a lot of people out. That kind of thing, like just unnecessary stuff. And I want to kind of talk about it because I have some thoughts on it. Bev's played flute and piccolo, and hubby played tuba. There you go. Nice. Sarah was a saxophonist. She played all the woodwinds, though, and I started as a saxophonist before I knew her, and then I switched to percussion. So there we go. And that's exactly it. But my family, we actually don't lose our hair, knock on wood. My dad's got a full head of hair. So, and his dad, before he passed away, I had a full head of hair. Hope I get that gene. All right, guys, let's do this infinity bottle tasting. It's 8:28. Pretty perfect time to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and pour these out here. I have not yet tasted Infinity version 5. So this is my very first taste of this along with all of you. Like I said, our dishwasher died, and I haven't really had time to hand wash the dishes. I've been waiting on this dishwasher to be put in. So the kitchen's a mess. I'm the dishes guy of the house. I do the dishes. And so I don't have any clean glasses right now of the kind that I like to use. And again, it's just been so busy. So I'm using some Glens tonight. I don't like Glens as much, but hopefully my nose still works. All right. Let me scoot back a bit here. Shayla plays saxophone as well. And guitar. Nice. Heck yeah. In before Social Sipper Club comes up. Actually, I will be honest, that is not involved. And look, I'm not going to say anybody's names. Because if I start throwing shade, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just as bad as the people that are throwing shade. But I do think it's worth talking about at least the most respectful and tactful way possible, as opposed to, again, calling people out or throwing shade. That's kind of my thought. Mother's father is the hair gene. Mother's father. Well, I didn't really know him, and she doesn't really know him very well either. So I don't know if he has any hair. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Guy. I know exactly what you're talking about. That kind of put me in that mindset a little bit too. Okay. Ooh, 2 very different smelling batches of the Infinity bottle, just on quick nosings right away. Let me sort of coat the glasses really quickly. Let's start with Infinity bottle version 4, which I have tasted before, probably 3 weeks ago at this point, when I tasted it against number 3, when this was the new bottle. And yeah, I don't really know. I don't really remember how it was at all. the Infinity Bottle project for me was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, weirdly enough, on my end. And if you guys want to see the entire construction of the Infinity Bottle from start to finish in text form, it's a lot of pages, but you can follow along if you want. That is in the description below. It's the Community Infinity Bottle Google Doc. Just click on that. I finished updating it today with the final stats. So it's all there. All the giveaway winners, what went into the bottles, the proofs, all of that good stuff is in that document in the description of this video. Sample bottles may not have been washed. Oh no, sample bottles are always washed. I never reuse a sample bottle. If I do reuse it, it's for something for me, never to send to somebody else, because I don't want any samples I send to be tainted. So I always wash my sample bottles, which is part of the fun. It takes a while because I wash them by hand. I don't use the dishwasher for those. So that, I guess that's the one thing I wash by hand, which is comical. Awesome, Lito. I'm glad you got that, man. Yeah, that's exactly why he's doing it. But, you know, sometimes it's better to not call people out by name. It just depends on who you are in the industry. If you're calling out distillers, reviewers, the whole thing is so situational. You know what I mean? AM65 likes the nose on the final product. Okay, good. So here, version 4. Version 4 is a very woody and very dark nose here. It's got a lot of it's got a lot of dry wood characteristics, almost like Calumet 15 dry wood or Old Forester barrel strength, or even Booker's. There's a quality of dry wood, but this doesn't smell like a young version of that. It smells like a well-aged version of that. I'm getting some serious like fig grape type notes here. Actually very fruity, little green apple in there. Yeah, some maple syrup on the nose of version 4. Good ethanol. I mean, it's not overbearing. It just lets you know that it's a decent proof. Maybe some vanilla in here as well. But overall, it's a very dark fruit, very woody nose with maybe just a couple of other smaller things kind of added in. Yeah, and just like a good, I mean, it is dry wood, but there's also some nice aged, wet warehouse funky oak in here too. So it's got a lot of different dimensions to it, but the overall quality is dark, and I like it. I really do. I always prefer a darker bourbon to a lighter bourbon, 9 times out of 10. A little perfume note in this in version 4. I don't know if you guys are picking up on that, those of you who have the samples of this. So let's try it on the palate now. Oh, wow. It's interesting. Wow. Nice chocolate, nice oak. Again, it's almost got like grape juice in this. I don't know if we mixed a lot of wine finish stuff into batch 4. The perfume note is so real though. Like rose perfume. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it kind of plays nicely with the grape soda type notes in here. That's interesting. Did I miss any super chats, guys? I want to make sure I didn't. Okay. There's just one that came in here from Dave Rosas. Let's see. Cam, if you want, I can provide five 1-ounce samples of giveaway. Oh, for the giveaway of Woodford Reserve Very Fine, Jack Daniel Barrel Strength Rye, Blue Spot, 179212, and 4 Roses OBSK. Dave, if you want to do that, man, let me think about it, because is Amy in here or any other wrenches? Because I don't know that we've been keeping track of super chats. We could maybe go back and yeah, we could go back. I still can see all of the super chats. We could do that if you guys want to do a little giveaway for this sample pack by Dave. Amy, let me know if you're in here or if there's any other wrenches that could maybe keep track of that. I'm down. I would love to give something away. I just didn't really plan for it this evening. And next week I'd like to give something pretty big. So Amy was about 20 minutes late. I might be able to snag them all. What do you guys think? You guys want to do the giveaway tonight? We can do that. I can go back and I can write them down myself, and I can just kind of keep track. Who else is sipping on? Does anyone else have sample 4 in their glass? Mm. All right. I don't want to finish that. I want to leave one sip for a final comparison here to number 5. Okay, Jay. Okay, let's push it to next week. Dave, if you're willing next week to do that same thing, we can add that as a prize to next week's giveaway, and I'll give away my Chattanooga 1816 cask strength, some good MGP juice. So if that's cool with you, Dave, just let me know, man, and we'll just push it to next week. If as long as you still have those bottles or whatever you want to send along, AM65, that blue spot caught my attention. Oh man, I don't know if we're gonna do it. I feel bad if you super chatted for the giveaway. I feel bad because I don't know if we're going to do it tonight. I can always send you some more samples if you need, man. Do it next week when we're prepared. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that, Dave. And dude, honestly, thank you for your generosity. Let's just talk about it next week. We'll send a message in Patreon and we'll do it next week. So. Okay, awesome, man. Thank you. Sorry about that. I hope there was no misunderstanding there. Just got home pouring sample 4 now, says Chris. Awesome. Okay, so again, I started with number 4. Again, that dry wood, that dark fruit type thing. The nose on the final infinity bottle version is really good. And I'm not just saying that because it's version 5. I have no horse in the race here, It doesn't matter to me, but we added a lot of high proof components last time. We added some Obtainium light whiskey. We added the NASA Family Reserve, again, with some light whiskey in there. We added some Old Forester 1920, if I remember correctly. A little High West Barai, which is not high proof, but a really solid flavor profile to put in there. Yeah, this has a beautiful caramel backbone that version 4 just didn't have. Oh, wow. Yeah, still a good amount of dry woodiness in here. A lot of oak. A hint of nuttiness. Just a hint of peanut. There's definitely some chocolate in the glass too. And yeah, it's definitely not as dark fruity as number 4. There's a little more cherry in here, I would say, like kind of mid-level, mid-range fruits. I'm not getting a whole lot of like cinnamon spice or anything like that. I think I'm getting a little bit of pepper in here, but not a ton of baking spices necessarily. Yeah, Aiden, compared to B521, I actually like it a good little bit. But yeah, I've revisited this and that one has definitely grown on me a little bit. But it's still, to me, not the best. I've been stocking up on all the 2019 releases recently, so. All right, heck, let's just try this final infinity bottle version 5, coming in at 55.3295%. Damn. I don't know how we did it. That final version is very, very good. Honestly, I think it really does better than version 4. I hope I didn't mix my glasses up because that would be a shame if I'm drinking version 4 right now. I don't think I did. I think I poured them in the correct order, and I don't think I mixed them up here. But version 5, the mouthfeel on this is excellent. So good for those of you who have this and are trying it with me. There's a slightly rubber component to this, and I think, honestly, that is coming from some of the light whiskey in the mix. Light whiskey has a little bit of a weird tinge to it for me that gets a slight bit rubbery sometimes, but it's not off-putting in version 5 here. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. Daniel says it was my Calumet 15 edition. You're welcome. Probably. I forgot that went in there last week. The light whiskey, the Calumet, Old Forester 1920, the High West Barai, and there was a couple other things in there too. There was Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. Aiden threw that in, and I think that's what's giving this a little bit more backbone and development on the palate. And then Jay, dealer's choice, I put in the Driftless Glen pick because I think, if I remember, version 4, when we were doing version 5, I think what I said about version 4 is that the development on the palate kind of just fell off a little bit. And when I just tasted it a second ago, version 4 does sort of fall off. Like it feels like it's going to really go somewhere. It's not thin by any means, but then it just flattens out. And version 5, it's like we added some cojones to this thing. And I think we did with the light whiskey and with the high proof, very caramel forward bourbons like the Jack Daniels, like the Calumet. That's just more woody. But the Driftless Glen, I'm sure, really helped this thing too. Yeah, I think it sips really nicely. I love it, Aiden. I love it. Carl says, I stayed out of it, which didn't ruin it. You're very welcome. Guys, there's an espresso dark chocolate note in version 5. Look for that. It's a little bit bitter. You could lose it in a barrel char note, maybe. It's distinctly dark chocolate espresso, and it's coming from the Driftless Glen, 100%. That is the same exact note that we get from that. Dave, man, I mean, look, if you end up sending another care package of samples, that would be a really cool one to try. It would go along with my Tears sample of tequila, but don't feel any obligation to send it immediately or anything. But yeah, I would love to try that. Absolutely. John, what are the medals on the wall behind your right shoulder? Those were from my days in indoor drum line. So there was an international competition at the end of every season. There are scholastic versions of that for high schools, and then there are professional versions. You don't make money doing it, but it's like the best marching drummers in the world in these groups. And those are from the final competition. We won gold one year, bronze another year, and then the other one is from Drum Corps International, which is sort of like professional marching band in a way. And I also won a gold medal there in 2014. So those were my band geek days, but at least it was like major league band geek. How long has it been marinating? If you're talking about version 5, I let it sit in the bottle for maybe like 7 to 10 days before we poured it out. And I gave it a little couple of shakes on some of those days too. Oh, DC. Dang it. Yeah. I hear some stuff going on there with the dishwasher installation, and I'm hoping everything is okay. Let me check my text. Sarah has been texting me. She says, oh, what did I watch without you? That was something I said earlier in the stream. And then she says she needs to go to the bathroom, but she doesn't want to do it while they're here. That's funny. Yeah, Aiden is definitely taking credit for the final blend. It's really good. Power of suggestion on number 5. Yeah, 4. Let me go back to 4. I'll do a final little comparison here. I have a couple of just one little sip left in each glass. Yeah, 4 is sweeter too. 4's got a little cane sugar note on the nose here, like wood sugars, that type of thing. Whereas 5 is a little more filled out with caramels. Yeah. Let's go back to 4. 4 almost has a Buffalo Trace tinge with the sweetness and the grape notes in there and the dark fruit. Yeah, they're totally different. It's amazing. Like, we only replaced 25% of the blend. I mean, that's a lot, I guess, but these are just fundamentally different, it feels like. You can find some comparisons and similarities in the oak quality and the wood quality of this, some of the darker barrel notes, but otherwise they're very different. Okay, well, this will be a good time to get into the next little topic here. So let me finish up my glass 5. Actually, I'm going to leave it because I think this stuff is really, really good. So I'm going to pour a little more. I'm going to have to make sure not to drink the rest of this flask too quickly, but I really like this version 5. Okay, guys. So, Dan L is in the house. What is up? Very cool to see you hanging out. DC, you bring up a good point here with the Matt Madness thing, so let's talk about it. Jay, man, you know what? Jay, I can send you. Let's talk. Let's talk. Send me an email. I've got plenty left here, man, and I don't need all this. So let me know. Shoot me an email. I'll get you some. I'll get you some of the final blend. It's all I have left, but I'm more than happy to send it. That's cool, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. I think we'll bring the infinity bottle back in the fall, maybe. I don't want to do it over the summer. It took 2 months. Little rocky start with the infinity bottle, you know? And so now it's like I want to give it some time before we bring it back and do it again. Oh, man, that sounds like a gross blend. You got to keep those things isolated. Okay, so Matt Madness. So if you guys caught that, was that last Friday, I guess? Yeah. So 6 days ago, we did the semifinals, and it was me against Bobby for My Whiskey She Wines. And, you know, the question came up, sort of the win or lose question was the very first glass, which was a bullet pick. And I had called that it was a Four Roses single barrel. I didn't call a recipe. I said it was a barrel strength. And Matt awarded me the points at first. And then when that became the contentious issue, because we all kind of assumed that Bullet was sourcing from Four Roses, then it kind of devolved. The chat got kind of nasty. Like some of the people in the chat were just being dickheads, if I'm being just honest with you. Like, it's a competition. I really want to win. I'm a very competitive person. Although I don't like to do like the shit talk thing. That feels weird. So I always try to like joke around when Matt like puts me up on the screen or something. Like, I don't know what to do for that. That's just not how I am. And Bobby's competitive, and Bobby wanted to win. And then some of the people in the chat just took that shit too seriously. And I was like, you know, come on, guys. But I really did think that Bullet sourced from Four Roses, if I'm being honest. And I think a lot of us thought that. Now, there was an article that began being recirculated. Oh my God. Amazing, Matt. Amazing. That's hilarious. If I can relearn how to ride that damn thing, I'm going to get it. Everybody hold Matt to that. Hold him to that. And Matt, let's push those semifinals as far away from this date as possible. I need some training time. Okay. Yes. So an article began circulating again from, I believe, October of 2020. I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that does the ESPN whiskey podcast, the red-haired guy. Like, honestly, I know his name. I just can't think of it. Whiskey Neat. My Whiskey Neat. Is that his website's name? Yeah, maybe it was just in the heat of the moment as it was kind of flying by me and I was trying to engage. Yeah, maybe I took it the wrong way. I don't know. It definitely could have been that. If it's on ESPN, it's wrong. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Anyways, so the article was circulating again, where he had interviewed or spoken to somebody from Four Roses and somebody from Bullet, and they had said that no, these are not the same things. Now, the glaring issue with the Four Roses sourcing that Bullet would be doing, if that were true, is that the mash bills are different. So the mash bills actually match MGP mash bills. The low rye, high rye 2136 is what Bullet has as their mash bills, as opposed to the, 20 and 35 ryes that Four Roses has. And so, yes, that is a glaring issue. Now, what I wouldn't rule out as, number one, I'm a skeptic of everything. And I have no, we're going to do a 3-way next week. And that's what I would want. In the end, it's going to be more fun. It's going to be more entertaining. It's going to be a really good time. And I think Matt did a great job navigating that in the moment. And that was the fairest call, is to advance both of us. So that's my opinion on it. But, the one thing that I'm not ruling out for the Bullet chaos is the idea that they could be having Four Roses contracted still for them. Now, that is a total shot in the dark from me. And I mean, I'll just say it tasted like a Four Roses single barrel, 100 million %. And I was feeling so good about my answer with that. But yeah, who knows what's in those bottles? Who knows? Nobody does. And so the question itself ended up, it's just a tough thing. It's a tough thing to manage. And I'm not, if I'm wrong and Matt would yank me out of the competition right now and he could get confirmation that it was in fact not Four Roses, that would be fine, because That's the correct way to do it. I would be incorrect on that. And so, it's just a tough thing. And I don't like all the shit talk or the intensity of the situation. It just is what it is. And it's a fun competition, and I'm really happy to be doing it. Phrase of the week. We're going to do phrase of the moment. We're going to do a 3-way next week. There we go. I actually thought about that. The fact that it's so damn close. Now, we can all agree that they're not getting stuff from MGP, because even though the mash bills match, there's no way MGP's given up juice that is that old. No. And they say that they source from Barton as well and all these other things. So when they talk about these 10 recipes, who knows how that would actually shake out in the end with, like, is it another 5 and 2 thing, like 4 roses, or is it that they're getting 2 recipes from Barton, 3 from here, 4 from here? Like, we don't really know. So I'm not sure. But I think it's fine. I think the way it's ending up is fine. But yeah, they're just, I don't know. I felt like maybe there was a little bit of shade being thrown, and I don't think any of that shit is necessary, to be honest. The 3-way will be a blast. It will, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So no, I don't think that I won, fair and square, and I don't think Bobby won fair and square. I think the whole thing was weird. And the last thing I'll say, because I've been thinking a lot about this week, and I talked to Sarah about it too, and I want to see what you guys think. Matt, if you're here, I'm not throwing any shade at you. This is just, I know I didn't argue this point too much on the stream, but I wanted to bring this up because I'm curious of everybody's thoughts. Something like Bardstown Fusion 3, I think is the one we were tasting, where there is 3-year juice in there, but like 40% of the blend is 13 years old. Now, yes, an age statement would mean that it would be a 3-year age statement on there. But when we know the percentages and you can average out the age, and the average age becomes 7 years, give or take, that's interesting to me. It doesn't feel like that's a 3-year-old bourbon or a 3-year whiskey at all in a tasting competition context, because if you had a bottle that was 99% 13-year with a 1% splash of 3-year, and you had to still know that was a 3-year blend, that doesn't work. So if you take it to its logical conclusion, it doesn't work if you know the proportion of the blend. But if it's age stated like a 10-year Henry McKenna single barrel that could possibly be 10 and a half, 11, that seems different. So I don't know. That was the one where I was like scratching my head going, in the future, this seems like a weird question if you know that 40% of the blend is 13-year. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That was my big question about that one. But it's just tough. It's like there's not enough cut and dry age-stated whiskeys or cut and dry sourced whiskeys where you know exactly where they're coming from to kind of have different things in every round of the competition. That amount of bottles is not realistic. So when you start adding these things in that have these blends or have these discrepancies in sourcing, that's a tough thing, and so I feel for Matt on his side of it, trying to put this competition together. I'm sure it's just a crazy challenge. And so hats off to Matt. I mean, it's just a hell of a lot of fun to be doing it anyways. Yeah, Shayla, I agree. And it did taste young. I mean, I said it was 5, I think, or maybe I said it was 6 and Bobby said it was 5. It was like a 1-year difference between us, but it was so confusing because of that blend. And then when you know the proportions, that's when it gets interesting. I believe it was 3-year and 13-year, if I'm correct. So that would average out to be about 7. Yeah, that might be a more appropriate question, though, and a very interesting one. I would never think to even ask that question or think about that. So that's interesting. Yeah, no, absolutely no ding on Matt. No ding at all. And I think you're right. I think we're all learning. Every round is like, we like, what's funny is like, from Matt's point of view, he's probably like, this isn't going to be an issue. And then it's an issue and it's like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? And so I really feel for Matt. Now must compete on his unicycle to start from 0. Shut up, Matt. Exactly. Good news is we are still talking about Matt Madness. Exactly. No, I think the whole thing, When you can get on a live stream and the most acceptable thing to say for at least 30 minutes is let's have a three-way, I think it's a win for everybody. Is there a better result? I mean, come on. So yeah, we need to so we're going to have a three-way. Matt's going to be the spectator. It's going to be just a great night. It's going to be a great night. That's hilarious. I used to play some Magic the Gathering back in the day. Nice, Steve. Yeah, the 120 proofers. Always so good. I love the unicycle jokes. Okay. I want to taste one more whiskey before I go on my final rant of the evening. I'm so sorry that tonight is all about ranting. Well, the Matt Madness thing's not a rant. That's just, I wanted to talk about it and address it. And I'm just happy to be part of the competition. Sheesh, A three-way with no questions, says Beth. Matt Madness has literally been probably one of the best things that's ever happened. Yeah, I mean, I've only been involved in WhiskeyTube for what month is it? So like 7-8 months. It's been amazing. I mean, holy crap. Jay had a dream one day. Infinity version 5. So dang good. Okay. Let me pour one last thing here, guys. And then we're going to get into my final little topic of the evening. Oh, by the way, I got a second whiskey shelf. So, sounds like the dishwasher has been installed and everybody has left. That's great. I should be installing the dishwasher. I should be the handyman, but alas, I am not. So I have a whiskey shelf over here with, I think the shelf holds about 150 bottles full. And I realized like, oh my God, I am at the point where I need a second shelf because my floors, my table, everything was covered in whiskey and I couldn't walk in this room. So I finally bought a second shelf thinking I'd probably have to put it in the basement because this room is very, very small. I said, screw it. We packed it in here. I rearranged the room a little bit. Now I've got my second 150 bottle shelf over here. So I'm very happy to have everything off the floor now. Leroy Jenkins. Oh my God. Amazing. It is whiskey overflow. The overflow of Magic the Gathering and World of Warcraft very high. Oh yeah. Agreed. I shouldn't say that out loud because I don't know if he's here still or not, but yes, absolutely. That is very nice. What's the last thing I should drink, guys? I'm looking around here. I'm trying to figure it out. I have my shelf of MGP is like right in front of me and it's calling my name. Is there anything that you guys want me to sip on or give? I could do the B521 again, which is kind of relevant to the next topic. Or I could do the new Bookers again. I could revisit that. Those are just like things that are fresh on my mind. My inventory is in the description if you guys want to check it out and see if there's anything in there you want me to look at. DC's got the Pingree Orange and opened it earlier. It's really good. Just blended it with the standard driftless blend. I haven't had the standard, and I'd like to have it to see kind of what the distillery profile is more about at a lower proof. Amy, I think this calls for 4 roses of some sort. Okay, that's interesting. Steve says Smoke Wagon. I did Smoke Wagon a couple weeks ago, or I would definitely pull it out. What's up, Josh? And thank you for, I think you recently hopped in on the Patreon, so thank you, man. I appreciate the support. Dan opened the New Riff Malted Rye. I didn't get one of those, but the Sam Houston 15, I might revisit that Sam Houston. Although Amy has a point on the 4 roses. I just don't have any I don't have any barrel strength picks. That's what I would want to drink right now. I might have a sample of one. No, I killed that sample on Matt Madness. So, dang it. Let me grab that Sam Houston. Let's do that. All right, I got one clean glass left. Oh, an interesting sample. All right, Daniel. You got me. Twist my arm. I'll drink the William LaRue Weller you sent me. Let me grab it. I have to save half of this sample because I have to let Sarah have it. Anytime I get any BTAC samples, I give her half because I love her. And I want her to try these things. So the George T. Stagg that Dave sent over a couple weeks ago or a month or two, I let Sarah have the other half of that. So I'll do a little pour of some William LaRue Weller to end my evening. In DC, do a Four Roses versus Bullet. I could do that. Honestly, I don't have any Bullet. I only have the Blender Select. So I could put the Blender Select next to the Four Roses single barrel. I think those are super comparable, you know, but anyways. Dave, how do I look at Four Roses sample I gave you? I know that I know a place that has multiple of the same one. Is it the barrel strength? Because Dave, you sent me 2 barrel strength picks, right? If you have a place that has those, man, send me a message tonight and I will send you money to pick me up some, because I've never owned a Four Roses barrel strength pick. And I would love to have some of those. They're hitting shelves in Ohio this week, but I'm sure I'm not going to be able to get one because of the people that wait in those lines. Amy, you know it's true love. You give them half of any PTAC. I know. Oh, man. This William LaRue smells really good. Really good. 2019, the 128 proof. Oh. I've only had a sip of William LaRue one other time in my life before I was really into bourbon, and so I didn't appreciate it. I didn't really know what I was drinking. I just knew it was expensive at a bar. Wow, that's good. Okay, guys. Sarah? Maybe she's not going to come in here. Hey, Sarah. Nah, she's busy. Anyways, let's talk about the final thing. Oh my God. That's so good. Oh, Daniel, dude. That's so good. Wow. Doug, what is up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in here. How are you doing? I'm hanging in. It's a better night now. I'm drinking William LaRue Weller. That's hilarious, Shayla. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about here, and if I'm wildly off base, please let me know what you think. You know, I'm going to try to be as tactful and respectful about talking about this as I possibly can. And the way that I talk about it today is pretty uncensored, not uncensored. That's not the right word. Unrehearsed. Like this has been stewing in my brain for a little while. Today was sort of like the last straw for it. Because I saw some stuff on whiskeytube. And so I wanted to talk about it, but I'm going to make a video about this more specifically where I kind of distill my thoughts down a little bit more. Distill. Sarah, come out wherever you are. It just has to do with the community aspect of whiskeytube, right? I am a fairly new channel, you know, and now in the grand scheme of things, maybe not, because we're having so many new channels pop up over the last couple of months. But, you know, I was sort of in the middle of the COVID channel boom on here. And I followed whiskeytube for years beforehand, before I decided to throw my hat in the mix and everything like that. But it was very clear that there was a COVID boom happening, and I knew I wanted to make a channel. And when I saw the direction it was going with people starting channels, I was like, this is the time, you know, like get in on the wave as opposed to at the end of the wave when it's really going to be challenging. And I think I got in a little late, but that's, you know, it was as good as I could do. Why are you always wanting controversy? I guess I don't see it that way. But yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't see it that way. I think these like honest conversations need to happen more, but I think, and I think what I'm going to say is relevant. So I don't know. I hope, you know, I hope more people don't see it that way. Just kidding. Okay. Well, that's good. Sorry, I missed that. No, I don't think I want controversy. I just think things need to be kind of put out in the open a little bit. And so, you know, I was a new channel on whiskeytube, but it became very apparent to me that the best quality of what we have going on here, it's not the reviews, man. Like, Jason puts out baller reviews. Like his tasting notes are top of the, top notch. And Matt's tasting notes are insanely unique. And his video presentation style is insanely unique. And that's great. And whiskey.com, Horst Looning, and Ralphie, and the guys on the Scotch side of things are calling out very specific tasting notes. And that's great. But that's not we get on here and we want to learn more about whiskey. Of course, all of us do. And we all have like different thresholds for how much knowledge we want to acquire, how deep we want to go in the tasting notes. And some of us just want to stay surface level. We want to know sweet, spicy. Maybe we want to know there's cherry. You know what I mean? You want to know if it's thin, full. Like some people like those descriptors and they're not going to go deeper. And some people want to know if there are notes of lemon rind in the back palate. You know what I mean? Like everybody's different, but none of that matters in the grand scheme compared to the community that's been built here by people over the last 10 years, starting with guys like Ralphie, and Scotch Test Dummies and all the people that really kicked this thing off. And it seems to me like a lot of the new people coming into the community now, and I did my best to not, I was trying to be very aware of perception of me when I started into the community. I didn't want to ask to collaborate with big channels when I had 200 subs. You know what I mean? Like you want to do your time in any endeavor in your life. You have to do your time. And I feel like I'm still doing my time in a lot of ways, But a lot of the new channels and new people in the community, it's not just channels, but people are like, hey, I'm going to do this new thing on whiskeytube. And it's better than everything else. And it's something that we don't have yet in the community. And these other people that are trying to give you these crazy tasting notes, screw, we don't need that. Just listen to me. Or it's like people making videos calling out like the way that people do reviews, or channels, maybe not by name, but calling out the idea of like, well, every other channel's kind of said this, but being kind of disrespectful. I just feel like we don't need that stuff in the community. Like we've built this community knowing like we all have different styles and we all have different ways that we communicate. And I'm not the silliest guy on planet Earth. I'm not the funniest guy. And I know that. And that's why Matt Porter is so freaking good at what he does, because he's hilarious and he's got his style. And he's also got one of the most baller palettes out there. And I'm different than that. And everybody else is different than that. But we don't need animosity between the channels calling each other out, whether it's like subtext, subtweeting each other and not calling us out by name. That we don't need that crap, And that's where I'm at with this, is like, it doesn't even always happen on whiskeytube. It'll happen on Bourboner or Bourbonar or whatever that Facebook group is. It'll happen in the Bourbon Junkies group. You just see this stuff going on, and it's like the underbelly, and like it's just the bullshit. And I hate that. I really do, because it's like, and yeah, have I been on the receiving end of some of that stuff? Yeah, obviously. Some of it's talking about not just me, but channels that dig into tasting notes really far, or this or that. And it's like, you're not going to make friends in the community, and you're going to tear the community apart when you start acting like this. And everybody can make their own decisions on whether you listen to some of these people saying very negative things or whether you don't. And you can take it for what you want to take it for. But I feel like the biggest message for me in this has been like, yes, do I make money doing this now? Yeah, I do. And I don't care about that, Like that's a great way for me to continue doing what I'm doing, because I have fun doing this and I love it. Not that I would have ever imagined doing this before. But, I know ways that I could grow my subscriber count very much faster than I am. And I'm not going to do that because it would mean inciting controversy or creating problems. But while that may increase subscribers and may increase revenue and may increase your personal clout, what it does is it tears down the community. And I think that, to me, is the most important thing about whiskeytube. That's what I'm trying to say. I think in life, I'm a part of a cutthroat industry, the music industry, specifically the classical music industry, which sounds hunky-dory. It is not. It is very ruthless. And I get enough of that shit over there from people just, it's nasty, man. And when I come over to here, it's like, this is a release. This is like what I have more fun here than I do on the other side of my life at this point. And just to see it starting to leak in here, because we're getting a lot of channels popping up and coming into the community, but deciding that they're going to try to best the community. And that's not how this works. linking arms with everybody is going to make a better result. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say, guys. Sorry about that and that rant. Yeah, I am strictly give me the whiskey level of things. Absolutely. And there are so many channels for that, and I think my channel kind of goes that direction more than it doesn't. I've said, a million times. I'm sorry. We all have different tastes. Absolutely. Yeah, there's some toxicity out there is what I'm kind of saying. Yeah, we don't need the drama, we don't. And so, yeah, I'm not going to call anybody out. Yeah, Jay, I 100% agree. Yeah, and Steve, that's also what I'm saying too, is like, we're here because of course there are people watching whiskeytube videos that don't hang out on live streams, and don't participate in the community. And that's maybe even a majority of the people, really, because we see the same people in all these live chats of our different channels. And so appealing to the majority actually is kind of a smart move. And so I get that. But you don't have to appeal to the majority while being tactless, is kind of what I'm saying. Like, just tact and respect are so important. And I think we've done a really good job in the whiskeytube community. And even before I got here 7 months ago, over the years of me watching, I always thought it was just an amazingly welcoming place. And it should remain that way, Yeah, I think, Dan, that a lot of it is subtext, but it's not like hidden. It's not unobvious. It's very clear when this happens. And as somebody on this side of things now, I may not have picked up on it before I really started making videos, but now that I'm doing it, I'm a little bit sensitive to when I see things and hear things and how they're presented. And it's like, that was a dig at this person, or a dig at this person, or this group of people. And there's a reason I'm talking about this today, Yeah. Unfortunately. Anyways, guys, I read into things a lot, but I don't think I'm totally crazy here, judging by some of the people, what they've said in the chat too. I think they've kind of seen a few of these things as well that I'm kind of describing. I don't think it's rampant necessarily, but you got to keep, I check in on these things. I don't stalk the whiskey Reddits, and I don't stalk the Bourbon Junkies Facebook group. I check in once a day, on those things. But I still manage to see some of that stuff. Shayla, I probably know about the dig you're talking about, but that one was pretty darn obvious, though. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I mean, that's my last little rant that I wanted to go on, and I'm going to end it now. I don't want to keep talking about it. I don't want to get dragged down into it, but I think I probably will release a video about it at some point. Maybe not soon, maybe I'll just kind of see how it all pans out. But I think it's worth putting out into the world. And I'm going to start doing some more talking videos too, just about maybe distillery profiles or more generalized talking as opposed to strictly reviews. And I think some things that will end up sort of bleeding over into those styles of videos will be things like I talked about just now, or, whatever else. I don't remember the last video I put out about something like that, but that kind of thing. Bourbon Buddy says, I definitely see it as well. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no. You can rewind it. I can't relive I don't want to relive that. Steve, do I have an infinity bottle? So as of today, no, I don't. Since we just did the infinity bottle blend, the community infinity bottle, and I sent those samples out, that was basically my infinity bottle. So I don't have one now. I guess I could make a personal one, but I tend to not do that. I don't have any bottles low enough that I'm ready to kill to just pour in there, unfortunately. Aiden, sorry, I'm eating. Guys, and Daniel P., this William Lure Weller, oh my God. One day, this is my dream bottle. William Lure Weller is my dream bottle. And I'll pay secondary for a lot of things, for better or worse. $1,500 on a WLW, I just can't do it. So I will never own one of these unless I find it at MSRP or at a store that's charging like 300. I'd definitely pay that for this. Alas, I'm relegated to samples, but dang it, Daniel, this is so good, man. Thank you so much. Mm. Oh man, Dan. Sheesh, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for the super chat. If anyone talk crap about you, tell them I said fuck off. Oh man, thank you so much. Yeah, I it remains to be seen how it all plays out. But at the end of the day, it's not about me saying this. It's not about the trying to stir shit or cause controversy or any of those other things too. To me, it's like, let's just keep this place positive, because it's such a great release for everybody. I think, like to be able to drink together, even virtually, is so amazing and so great to be able to check in on people that we really don't know, but we kind of know. I love it. I really do. So thank you, Dan, for the super chat, man. That's freaking awesome. I so appreciate it. Daniel, this is a top pour, man. It really is. I get it. I understand why people love this stuff now. By the way, William Llewellyn's for losers. I'm like a half loser. Or maybe I'm like 3/4 of a loser. So I love the bullet controversy. It cracks me up, man. I'll say though, DC, it really tastes like a Four Roses single barrel pick. I mean, it's so close. It's like, what else has that? When people were saying Barton, it's like, there's no way this is Barton. But what else could it be that tastes that way? That's why I wonder if Bullet doesn't have their stuff contract distilled, and have their own unique recipes from somebody. But it's just like, who would that be? I don't know. Steve says, as a newbie, there's so much excellent, well-priced bourbon. I don't know when I will exhaust those opportunities when the secondary market might make more. Yeah, I think that's the thing, Steve, is like you definitely should drink through everything on the shelf before you would even consider buying secondary. Unless, like, for instance, if you find that, let's say that you find that you like 1792 stuff, you really like the 12-year, you end up loving sourced Barton, but your state didn't get a batch of Sam Houston 14, Sam Houston 15, and you find it on secondary for a price you're willing to pay, maybe you don't drink through the whole shelf yet because you really know that you love that Barton profile. Then I could see you going to chase some secondary things earlier on in your whiskey journey. It could go either way. Absolutely. But I think stick to the shelf. My number one goal was develop my palate first. Like, don't buy something expensive until I can appreciate it. That was my mindset. And then eventually it started to come together, and I felt like, okay, if I drop $200 on this bottle, now I feel like I could pick out some of the notes people are talking about. You know what I mean? Carl, you're so right. But I unfortunately, I love Buffalo Trace. Oh, I love it. The old stuff. Pesto margarita pizza. Ooh, you got to get that while it's hot. Oh, yeah. Daniel, I'm okay with being a loser. William LaRue is when I explain has a place whiskey and economics for that matter. Yeah, I'm so on the fence about this, but look, I buy on secondary. So clearly there's something to it for me. Part of it's the channel wanting to do these reviews. Part of it is I can blame it on the channel, but really I'd buy it on secondary anyways because I want it. So it is what it is. Yeah, DC, this is amazing. I might not even finish it right now. I might let it sit so I can continue nosing it tonight because I have to save that other half for Sarah. Which one doesn't give you a hangover if you have 4 to 8 shots? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Probably something 80 proof, Oh, wow. Going back to the Infinity Bottle Batch 5, it's got a lot of candied Old Forester cherry notes on it now. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of people are probably in that boat who wouldn't want to deal with trying to turn a profit or trying to ship bottles, which is a pain in the butt until you get a system down. But yeah, plenty of people are going to pay the money because they want those bottles. I think that's probably the most common thing. And like I've said on previous streams, like, yes, I did at the beginning of COVID, sell bottles on secondary, because it was the beginning of COVID, and self-employed musician, I was very screwed. But, those times have passed. But I understand it from a desperation side of things. I don't understand it from people who like do it as their full-time job. That's just kind of like, I don't feel so good about that. So. All right, guys. Well, hey, I think I'm going to jump off here in just a second. Unless anybody has any final thoughts, any final questions, or anything. Again, my inventory is in the description. If there's anything you want me to give notes on or taste, more than happy to do that. I probably have one more pour on me tonight if you guys wanted notes on something or something like that. But otherwise, I'll jump off here in a couple of minutes. Just let me know. I'm just enjoying the last little bit of this pour of the infinity bottle. It's so good. It's so good. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, sorry, it was definitely a rant session tonight. I got to get Trev Wilson back on here soon, by the way, everybody. That last stream we did was just so fun. It was so fun. Oh, I got the bourbon belches. I'm so sorry. But yeah, giving away Discovery 4 on that stream, like that was just a great time. And I think next week, maybe I'll see if I can twist Trev's arm and get him on here so we can do like a pretty cool bottle giveaway and just have a good time, Bubble bath. Okay, let me go up here for just a second. Has anyone seen Larceny B521? I haven't, but I know it's out. I am desperately searching for one on secondary because I want to get the review out, even though Larceny has been a tragic failure for me personally recently. It kind of is what it is at this point. Bubble bath. When is the next infinity bottle? Probably the fall is probably when we'll do it. And I think the system was good towards the end. I figured out a system to do it. And I think the only thing I'll have to figure out next time is how to start the infinity bottle without having to get 28 pours on night one, because that's a lot of people to buy into it. And I don't think it's going to happen. And it didn't happen this time. Z-Man says, one more pour. Whiskey rant, LOL. I don't know why. I said LOL out loud. Jesus, what is wrong with me? I should just get off the stream now. Dave, man, I've got another blind coming. I forgot about that. Okay, sick. I've got a bunch of stuff from you I need to try, actually, still. All the Sonoma County, I think is what it was, the Sonoma County stuff. Amy, yes, thank you for that. Thank you for dropping that in the chat. Everybody, Adriana, a.k.a. Whiskey Mountains, is doing an Alzheimer's fundraiser on the 20th, which that's Sunday, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, got to count it out. It's on Sunday. Lots of fantastic bottles will find new homes. That is amazing. Everybody check that out on Sunday. That's Father's Day. And I think I'm taking that day off. So I usually work every day, weekends too, all that, the self-employed thing. But I think I'm going to give myself Sunday off because I just need a break. Oh, interesting. Who has the better paradiddle? You or Trev? Prove it. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. A little paradiddle off. I love it, DC. I love that you know what a paradiddle is, man. Are you a drummer? I mean, I feel like you've got to be a drummer to know that. Call it Magic Mash and market to women. Sarah might murder me. Chris wants some tasting notes on the pumpernickel cast ring. Okay, let's do it. Heck yeah. You're the first one, and I think the only one to submit one, so thank you for that. Keith, speaking of secondary pricing, have you ever bought a bottle on secondary or off the shelf that you thought was undervalued for the way it drank? Oh, yeah, and the JD Rye, that's definitely going to be one. If I would have found that at anything under 130, I would say that. Because, like I pay 130 for Sam Houston, for Calumet 15, and I think those are fine values, honestly. $10 a year or less than $10 a year on a 15-year product, sign me up for that. So the Jack Daniels would definitely fall in that category, up to that price point for me. I think this Driftless Glen store pick is it's still rocking my world, to be real. And so I think that Driftless Glen store pick at $60, I'd pay up to $100. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, it's a great value. some of this MGP, like Backbone, for some reason, is like the best young MGP stuff that I think is on the shelf. I think that's also undervalued for me. Yeah, and I don't really know what else. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof has now sort of I don't know if it's evened itself out at $70 MSRP. I still think it's undervalued. I hate to feed that hype, but yeah, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and I'm kind of looking over at my shelf right now. Booker's has gone the wrong way, absolutely. You know, one other thing that I've been getting into recently, Buffalo Trace store picks. If you get them for $30 off the shelf, dude, if you get a good one, I think they're great deals. So I don't know. Yeah, Carl's got the right idea. Definitely has the right idea. Yeah, Keith, it really, to me, I guess most of the things I just talked about were all store picks, except for like Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Yeah. Yep, that's probably it. Okay, so let me grab the Pumpernickel Cast Strength Rye for Chris, and then we'll wrap it up after that. It's just right back here. Oh, I didn't mention this earlier. I was supposed to be, let's get the autofocus. Okay. I was supposed to be at Rabbit Hole on Wednesday doing a video shoot with them, a tour, and I had to cancel because of all the chaos of this week. It was before the car accident. Actually, the car accident happened here in Columbus because I wasn't at Rabbit Hole, which sucks. But because the dishwasher went out and I knew we were getting it installed, I had to cancel the trip, which really, really sucks. So I'm going down to Rabbit Hole on July 1st now. That's the new plan. And I'm going to see if I can stop off at Peerless. I was talking to John there, and Matt Porter was kind of hooking that connection up. So I'll see if that works out. If it doesn't, you know, it's no big deal at all. But I want to kind of make a very, you know, jam-packed trip. I want to get enough out of that trip, which would be great. So that's kind of the plan for that. And the reason I bring up that distillery, just the idea of maybe a smaller distillery or craft distillery, is because we're going to be finishing out the night with this whiskey right here from Middle West Spirits, right smack dab in the middle of Columbus, Ohio. Middle West is doing some really amazing stuff. Most of their stuff is like a 4-grain mash with their what do they call it? The Michelin Reserve bourbon, which is kind of the thing that a lot of people know. This dark pumpernickel rye, this is a cask strength store pick, single barrel, unbelievable. I mean, fantastic whiskey. It's a little bit different than anything you've probably ever tried because it's made with dark pumpernickel rye, and it has a distinct profile to most of their whiskeys. But I will end my night. The reason this bottle is this low is because I sample a lot of it out. I don't drink it very often because I really like it and I only have one of them, but I sample this out to a lot of people because I think it really shows what you can make in Columbus, Ohio, whiskey-wise. Dan, after all of that, congrats on your upcoming wedding. Good luck, sucker. Sarah's probably hearing me be called a sucker right now. So, hey, I'm excited. It's going to be great out in Colorado. It's my first time out there. So, heck yeah. Oh, Daniel, I say some of that right to compare your notes. Let's do it. The other thing to notice about all of Middle West's whiskeys, it's so dark. It is ridiculously dark whiskey. And this is 3+ years old. So not very old either. I missed something in the chat about Adam at Rabbit Hole. Yeah, 21090 says Adam at Rabbit Hole is awesome. Yes, he is. And he is a musician like me. He plays the tuba. He went to music school. He went to grad school for music. So we were really like, when we did our Zoom call to talk about the distillery visit, it was pretty cool to be able to talk to him on that level too. So that's going to be great. What's up, Lone Wanderer? Noah's in the house. Good to see you. All right. Wow. It's hard to do this out of a Glen because this is some pretty strong whiskey here. Jeez, let's see. I don't have any of my favorite glasses clean. Let me grab a different glass. We'll do a little aged in ore neat glass. Okay. So yeah, it's a really dark profile here. Again, this is the Middle West. Let's see, Middle West Dark Pumpernickel Rye. This is 61.85%. I get a lot of dark cherry, really, really dark cherry notes. It's not a lot of oak, but I almost get a savory note. And this is the one thing, Chris, if you're drinking this along with me, or anybody I've sent this sample to, this whiskey has a distinct savory note. And if I say soy sauce, you're going to like think I'm gross. And hearkening back to that blind flight Sarah gave me many months ago, it's just that it has like a thick, savory, almost saltiness to it. And in some ways, it's reminiscent of soy sauce, you know? Yeah, there's a little bit of... there's a lot of pepper. The rye spice in here is not as green as other ryes necessarily. I still do get a little bit of a licorice note here. But to me, it's just a really, really dark... it's got a good bit of ethanol to it. It's a dark, thick, fruity, savory rye. Really interesting. I haven't forgot the sample, I promise you. I'm waiting on one bottle, and I'll send a flight. Oh, cool. Heck yeah. I honestly can't keep track anymore, so I would have never remembered that, unfortunately, because I can't even keep track. I don't even try. Oh, Daniel's getting a lot of anise on the nose. Yeah, maybe. Let me pour it back into this glass. It's so interesting nosing something out of two different glasses. I get it a lot more on the Glen. Yeah, the Glen really, really makes this a punchy whiskey. It's so dark, though. Daniel, am I crazy? I mean, I feel like the profile of this is so rich, so deep. And I don't know. Let me know if you're getting that. Yeah. Okay, so I said licorice before I read that you had mentioned anise. Yeah, 100%. Let me know if you're getting those savory notes, though. I don't know. That's why I love this stuff so much. When it hits your palate, it doesn't attack you, but it's one of those that just sucks the moisture right out of your mouth. It's like a really high proof. It drinks like... the mouthfeel and the drinkability of this reminds me of a much older, much more expensive whiskey, is what I'm trying to say. Daniel, not getting soy sauce. Well, here's the other thing. It's less prevalent on this rye. The Michelin Reserve, which is the 4-grain bourbon, is intensely savory. It's very thick. It's like beef broth and mushrooms in that one. And this has a little bit of that. Maybe those are better notes. Maybe you could pick those out of this. Still kind of that beef broth, mushroom, soy sauce, salty, savory thing. It's much less in here, and the rye spice covers it up. But the bourbon really gets that a lot. And it's not necessarily a bad thing either. It's just a very distinct profile. It's definitely dark and dense. I get a lot of woodiness that's, again, that dry woodiness. Not like musty, funky oak. It's just like dry barrel. Oh, I love it. I actually get barbecue sauce and soy marinade. This is one of those whiskeys that you would absolutely get that. Dave, I still haven't tried any of their American stuff. I've only tried Bourbon Batch 4. That's the only Old Carter. Next time I take a trip out of state, I am going to pick up some Old Carter if I see it. Aiden, I was laughing at this earlier. Yes. I don't know, Daniel. I mean, I also have spent a lot of time with these particular whiskeys from Middle West, and it took me months to pick up these notes. And now I feel like I have it kind of dialed in with their profile, but in the beginning, this stuff was just delicious to me. And now it's just slightly less delicious because I'm likening it to, again, like who said that? Lone Wanderer, barbecue, soy marinade. Like I am likening it to that a little bit, and that's why it gets a little weird for me now, but I think it's great. And that's why I send it as a sample, is because I don't think people are going to pick up on some of those more strange qualities at first. I think the initial reaction is, holy shit, this is a 3-year rye whiskey from an unknown distillery in Columbus, Ohio that can compete with some serious heavy hitters. And this thing maintains its price at $50 for a cask strength single barrel. I mean, can you really beat that? Steve says, chat, is there a fruit forward shelf available bourbon you can suggest? My go-to for a fruit forward, yeah, see, some of the Four Roses single barrel, like if you get a single barrel with a different recipe, it could be good. The Shelfer recipe of the single barrel might have a little too much spice for your liking, a little more too much floral qualities to it. Let me look around at my shelf here. Fruit forward. Yeah, Wild Turkey is going to be very cinnamon heavy. I'm going through the distilleries at this point as I'm looking. You know, you might consider something Brown-Forman because you get a lot of candied cherry notes on Brown-Forman products. So, you know, Cooper's Craft 100 to me is like one of the most underrated products on the market right now. That's classic Brown-Forman with a really nice mouthfeel and a super solid proof at 100. You might go Cooper's Craft 100. I'm seeing 1792 cherry forward. Okay, the small batch to me is so. If you can get a bottled and bond or even like a single barrel. Old Forester 86. I drank that the other night at a bar. Absolutely. That's another Brown-Forman fruit monster. Buffalo Trace to me is more honey than it is fruit until you get into the older varieties. So once you get into like an Eagle Rare, if you get to like store pick Buffalo Trace, store pick Eagle Rare, you're going to get more fruit. But the shelf stuff and the low end of things is going to be very honey and corn grain forward instead. Yes. So the store picks. Yeah, absolutely. Old Forester's banana. Yeah, it depends on the Old Forester product. I mean, they all have banana. Some have more cherry than others. But to me, it's like that's definitely a lot fruitier overall. And 1792 cherry AF. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And I haven't had any rabbit hole. That was going to be like part of the fun of the distillery is I've only tried the Boxer Grail once in a blind flight. So it's going to be interesting. Josh says, shh, maybe he's talking about the Coopers. I don't know. Oh man, the double 27 year that Lido sent me was out of this world. So I haven't had the 21, but I'm sure Dewar's does amazing blends. I just wish the proof was just a little bit higher, you know, but we can all ask for that in the land of Scotch. Okay, guys, Edward Fulmer throwing in the eggplant with the turkey. All right, guys. Hey, I'm going to jump off of here. This dark pumpernickel rye, though, Chris, if you're sipping on this along with me, I think it's a fantastic pour, man. And it drops about once a year here in Columbus. So I'm going to see if I can stock up this time and then start sending bottles to people because I know I just want to share the love of Middle West. And I've been talking to them as well about doing a distillery visit with a lot of footage and, you know, just like a piece of content, a 20 to 30 minute piece of content about visiting and tasting with them and that kind of stuff. And I think that'd be really cool. So. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up with this and go finish my William LaRue Weller to end my night off stream. So cheers, guys. Thanks for listening to my rants and my hardships that I've had the last few days. But hey, we're getting married at the end of August. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you for your support. Love all of you guys. I'll see you soon. I'm going to get a video out as soon as I possibly can. And patrons, I will be more active on the Patreon. I know it's been a weird week. Cheers, guys.